Hi friend, it's Ben here, Benjamin Theodore. Welcome to my podcast. I'm super excited to have you here because as of now, my album, The Eternal Optimist, is finally out. This is an album I've been working on for the past 2.5 years, and I'm super stoked to finally share the entire thing with you. Now, to celebrate this, I have 11 special podcast episodes lined up for you. One episode for each track of the album. And in these episodes, I'm going to show you how I made these songs. So I'm going to show you my Logic Pro sessions. So if you are watching either on Spotify or on YouTube, you can watch along how and see how I made these tracks. So I'm going to spill the beans. I'm going to share everything that there is to share about how I made these tracks. I'm going to share some stories behind songs. So I'm super excited about this. Now, my album is out now, and if you like what you hear in these podcast episodes, or if you are just curious, please go to your streaming service that you prefer. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, all the streaming services is out there. And if you enjoyed very much, you can buy the album from me. I have a special deluxe download that you can buy for just €1 per track. So it's 11 euros. And that way you support me directly, so it's not going through Spotify and I get a couple of cents, but you support me directly, so thank you very much. Or what I'm most excited about is that I have a CD and an actual LP for you that you can buy. You can buy that directly from me, and I'll leave links down below in the description. So I'm going to try to keep these podcast episodes brief. We're not going to do like an hour-long episode per track, because that would be a bit much. So I'm not going to talk too much, but we're going to dive into my Logic session right now. And here is the first track of the album. It's called MTV. And it's a song that I came up with, I think, years and years ago. I don't even remember, but I do remember when I came up with the chorus idea. And this was back in one of the previous houses that I lived in. It must have been maybe 8 years ago or something like that, and we were sitting at the dinner table and I was just playing around with my guitar, and I came up with this chorus idea. And originally this was supposed to be like a pop country song, a modern country song, so that's very funny. But it took years before this evolved into the song that it is today. I remember 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago, I was driving in the car and suddenly it hit me, the puzzle pieces fell together. How do you say that? You know what I mean. Anyway, let's just listen to the entire track. How this works, these episodes, I'm going to play the entire track for you, and then I'm going to go through the song and show you how it's made, how I produced it, how I mixed it, stuff like that. So this is the mix of MTV. Now, what you hear on the actual record, of course, is the mastered version. So that's going to be a bit louder. It's going to be a bit fuller. But this is my mix. So I think that's interesting to hear. You don't see a lot of artists share their mixes and show you how they made it. So here we go.
So I said, son, when I was young, about your age, I dreamt of being on stage. I looked up to my heroes, I saw them doing what I do now. Now we're looking at our phones all the time. I wanna hear kick, snare, and bass guitar. See music, television. I wanna go back to the way things were. Hear music that I'm used to. All the songs that they play on the radio are not like the ones that I used to know. Kick, snare, and bass guitar. See music, television, where music is live. what's on MTV. My favorite music was being played. It made my worries go far away. But now we're stuck inside the metaverse. What the fuck? I wanna hear kick, snare, and bass guitar. See music, television. I wanna go back to the way things were. Hear music that I'm used to. All the songs that they play on the radio are not like the ones that I used to know. Kick, snare, and bass guitar. See music, television, where music is live. I come alive. When music is live, I come alive. Play me a song on the radio, just like the ones that I used to know. Play me a song on the radio, just like the ones that I used to know. Play me a song on the radio, just like the ones that I used to know. Play me a song on the radio, just like the ones that I used to know. I wanna hear kick, snare, and bass guitar. See music, television. I wanna go back to the way things were. Hear music that I'm used to. All the songs that they play on the radio are not like the ones that I used to know. Kick, snare, and bass guitar. See music, television, when music is live. I come alive. When music is live, I come alive.
Alright, so that's MTV. Yes, oh man, I love this mix so much. You know, the mastered version is really nice because it's a little bit more compressed and it's a little fuller sounding. But in the mix, there's more dynamics, so the chorus is hit harder. I really like that. Now, the funny thing about this is it takes a sort of an Ed Sheeran approach in the sense of that it starts off with an acoustic guitar and, you know, oh, sorry, this acoustic guitar. Which is called guitaros here on the screen. I don't know why, but I thought that was funny probably. But the trick here was to have it start off with an acoustic guitar, but give it like a sort of a twist so that it sounds like more like a synthetic synthesizer. It's a sort of, it's like a hybrid between just a plain acoustic guitar and an synthesizer, because that's the vibe of the record. You know, it's very organic, but at the same time it's synthetic. It sort of meets in the middle, and that's what I'm doing here with the acoustic guitar. Also, to make it sound more interesting, I have this chorus effect, and it's the Tal Chorus LX. It's a free plugin that I saw Charlie Puth use. This record is heavily influenced by Charlie Puth, as you maybe can hear. It's like a hybrid between Coldplay, John Mayer, Charlie Puth, a little bit of Bob Dylan sprinkled in there. So yeah, that's where this plugin came in handy. It instantly gives it this 80s vibe. And this makes a mono signal sound stereo. So without it, it sounds like this. So very plain. And now with the chorus. Oh, sorry, I was clicking on the wrong chorus plugin. I thought, why am I not hearing? As you can tell there, I use this chorus plugin a lot. So this is with the chorus plugin, and then without. So yeah, it sounds very, very boring, just very plain, and then with. It's just a little bit, it makes it a little bit wider. So I'm trying to emulate this sort of Ed Sheeran kind of feel. Yeah, there's some distortion on the acoustic guitar as well. Little radiator to give it some some grit, you know. It needs to fit in the track also, you know. It's a heavy track, especially the chorus is really big and it's really heavy. So the acoustic guitar needs to fit in there as well. And I have 2 acoustic guitar tracks. So this is the first one. That's so it's got these 2 notes. You know, a very poppy, a very standard thing, but I like it. And then there's a strumming part, and because that's a lot louder and it has different function in the track, I recorded it on a separate track. It's very compressed and very distorted as well. I'm using what kind of compressor? 2 compressors, an 1176 and an LA2A. I'm not going to go into technical details in these episodes, but you know, for anybody who's interested, you can watch on the screen what I'm using, and you can hear what it sounds like. So yeah, that's the acoustic guitar. Then there's my vocal.
So I said, son, when I was young, about your age, I dreamt of being on stage.
There are all these plugins here that you can see. So auto-tune, there's EQ, compression, stuff like that, a couple of compressors, de-essing. But then in the final stages of the mixing part, when I was in Mexico, when I was staying at a hostel to sort of get away from normal life and to get out of my bubble and finally be able to finish my mixes, I added this last 1176 compressor,
I looked up,
which adds heavy compression.
to my heroes.
But overall, on the entire album, I wanted the vocal to sound more heavily compressed, you know, more forward sounding. So this is what I added. For some reason, I really like the sound. It makes it sound a little bit more commercial, you know. There's a lot of compression happening on this record, which is a new sound for me in the sense of this is my first real pop album. You know, there are some real pop tracks on there. They still have, you know, my sound, my acoustic, my organic elements sprinkled in there. But it's a pop record, especially when it comes to vocals. So let's go to the vocals. This is also the first time on this album that I've experimented with vocal stacks, with vocal layers, harmonies, and stuff like that. But I still wanted to keep it organic. So what you hear in the chorus.
I wanna hear kick, snare, and bass guitar, see music, television. I wanna go back to the way things were, hear music that I'm used to.
I've left it a little bit, it's not very much aligned, all the vocal tracks. What's normal in pop music nowadays is to make all the vocal doubles sound exactly the same, but I've left it, you know, organic on purpose because I wanted to keep that, you know, human element in there. And I just tried to sing it as close as possible, but because it has some imperfections, that's what makes it sound human, you know. So I believe you can relate to it that way. Sometimes it's necessary to align everything, and with the tracks that I'm doing now, I do that often, but on this record, I've left it alone.
I wanna hear kick, snare, and bass guitar, see music, television.
So those are the vocal parts, and then there are more harmonies here. So, you know, let's solo these.
Where music is live.
Harmonies.
I come alive.
You know, they are not the same. You can hear the little differences in there, but I think that's cool. So there are a lot of vocal tracks going on here. Let's see, what else do we have? There are even more vocal tracks because there's a key change happening. You know, it starts off in A major. For those interested, it is A major, C sharp 7th, F sharp minor, D major, that's the chorus. But then the key change happens, you know, in after the bridge. Where it transposes to B major. So same chords, but you know, in B major. And what is funny about the let's go to the electric guitars right here. You know, because there's something funny happening there as well. I recorded a lot of this song in the studio of my friend Marcel Zimmer, who plays drums on 2 of the tracks on the album as well. So, you know, you might be familiar with him if you are in, you know, the circles that he's in. And funny thing is, he was actually my drum teacher when I was a kid. So I learned how to play drums from him, among others. And he was a big inspiration on my music and my musical upbringing. So it was like a full circle, you know, going back to his studio to record drums for my album. And to basically produce him, you know, to say maybe play a little bit more like this and watch the hi-hat on this and that, and so the roles were reversed, and you know, but that's a story for another track where he actually plays drums on. But I recorded a lot of the stuff that you hear in his studio. I locked myself there in December around Christmas, and I used his Strat. I don't know exactly what kind of Strat it is, but it's like some sort of custom-built John Mayer Strat. But he uses very heavy strings, so it sounds very beefy. And that's, let's see, I think it's this one right here. Oh, yeah. So on its own, it sounds incredibly bright. You know, this track, very, very harsh. But in the track... The way things were here, music that I'm used to. So that's a piece of advice that I would like to give you if you are a producer. You know, your listener doesn't care if it sounds good soloed or not. He or she cares about how the song sounds, how it makes you feel. So if it sounds very bad in solo, you know, you shouldn't give a damn, because it needs to fit in the tracks, you know. And there's a guitar part on the right as well. That's Telly. It's a little beefier. But if we go to the bridge section, you can... I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear that I'm struggling, you know, with the chords, because he uses this very heavy strings on his Strat. He's a rhythm player. He's not really like a solo player or something like that. So he uses this heavy strings to get this full sound, but I'm not used to that. I think he uses like 13 strings on his guitar or something like that. He's like Stevie Ray Vaughan in that sense. But anyway... So there are 2 main electric guitar parts happening in the track. But there are also 2 MIDI guitars, which you barely can hear, but they sort of add a little bit more dimension. They should be banned to this side. I use this sort of bounce in place thing here in Logic. Let's mute that for a second. Let's unmute these parts here. Let's go. Yes, this is just some real life Logic struggles that's going on. But they are MIDI strats. They even sound mono. because they're so similar that they sort of cancel each other out and they become mono. But they add this little chimey part, and this is also a trick that I saw Charlie Puth use, and they don't really carry that much in the song, but they add just a little bit more extra. And again, this is a bit of that synthetic sound sprinkled in there. So on its own, it sounds really bad, you know, it's really MIDI like. Really bad, but in the context it's kind of funny. I just wanted to play that for you. Now let's go to the drums, because that is a big part of this production as well. This is the kick sound that I've used all over this record. I used this sample that I sort of borrowed from Charlie Puth as well. Let's just leave it at that. And it's a very cool, full sounding modern kick drum. But then the snare is made up of a couple of different parts. There's this one, which is more organic sounding, and this one. I forgot about that. So if you put them all together, then it sounds like this snare. So that's a layered snare, really nice. Then there is another snare part happening here. Wow. Hats. There's even a clap. Tambourine. Some risers and crashes. So incredibly big sounding drums. I love it. So then what's also a big feature on this song is the bass. I started off with this one, but you know, in the track it doesn't sound that full, so I needed something bigger, and I just got this Moog bass virtual instruments by Universal Audio. It's like a real Moog plugin, and it totally transformed the song. All of a sudden I was like, whoa, this is sounding really unique, you know. Oh, it's so big and so nasty. I love it. There are some other synth parts as well. This one, very 80s. Yeah, man, I love it. And then the thing that I'm probably most proud of is this lift that is happening in the final chorus, where we've transposed to the key of B major. And I needed, you know, a little bit of extra energy to be added here. And I got that in the form of this arpeggio pad synthesizer thing. This one. So that's basically the entire track. I don't know if there's anything that you would like to hear more about, or to know how I produced that or how I mixed that. I promise to keep these episodes as short as possible, so I'm just going to leave it at this. I hope you really enjoy the song, and please go listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you stream your music. Don't forget to click on the heart if you are on Spotify. Follow me there. That all helps with the algorithm. And of course, if you want, you can buy the record directly from me as a deluxe download, a CD, or a limited edition LP. I didn't mention that in the beginning, but the CDs and the LPs are, of course, limited edition. So I don't know if they will ever sell out, but if they do, I'm probably not going to make more of them. So for now they are limited edition. So if you want, you can get that, and that way you support me directly. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this record. I hope you stream the hell out of this album, and I hope that it reaches the people that it needs to reach. I hope that it will bring a little bit of light, a little bit of optimism, and get some good vibes going. So please go enjoy it. Leave a comment down below if you watch this on YouTube, if you enjoy this track, if you enjoy this album. And don't forget to watch the other episodes that I have lined up for you. I'm releasing one every day for the coming 11 days. One podcast episode for every track on the album. So go watch that if you enjoy that. And I'll see you tomorrow in the next episode, where we're going to talk about the second song on the album called Here With Me. All right. See you then. Bye.